Hello, I'm going to be going over how I added protected routes to Jibber, the federated social network we're building. Subscribe for progress. So I've added a component wrapper to the app.tsx file. And what it does is it checks if the component has this variable auth required set. And if it does, then it wraps the component when it's being rendered in this auth guard. What the auth guard does is it checks if the user's authenticated, and if the user is, then it lets it through. If not, it redirects to the sign-in page. So let's see how I actually implemented this. First thing to notice is this Jibber app props. It sets the prop types for the component and page props that are being passed in to actually be rendered on your Next.js app. So let's look at where that is set. So next.ts. And basically it just overrides some of the Next types with our own types. First one to see is Jibber page. We add an auth required as an optional boolean. So now on any page we can set, like on the settings page, we can set auth required equal to true. And now the thing that I showed you earlier will run the auth wrapper, or auth guard, checking if the person is authenticated. And then we need to format it correctly so the next app receives the proper prop types for the components to be rendered. To do that, we extend the app props from Next.js, and the app props expects a component and then some of our own props that we also want. So in this case, the session. You can see that right here. Okay, so now let's actually look at the auth guard. We first get the session. If the session is loading or it's unauthenticated, then we render a spinner. And if it's not, meaning if it's actually authenticated, then we render the component, which is a child of the auth guard. And then we wait, and let's say the person is actually unauthenticated, then this use effect will run. The sign in from the NextAuth will run and redirect the user to the sign-in page. So let's actually look at an example. We are on the settings page. This requires you to be authenticated. And if you could look, you can see that I actually am authenticated. But let's say I sign out. Now I'm not authenticated. So if I go to the settings page, it'll redirect me to the login page. That is an overview of how it is currently working in our Jibber application. And thank you for watching.